That's what Jimmy eventually did with me. He realized the script shit wasn't going to work. And Vince Russo and I became very, very good friends after me and Jimmy parted ways. Well, actually, probably for 2 or 3 years, why me and Jimmy were friends, which frustrated Jimmy. He didn't like it. I was friends with one of his enemies. But Russo and I got very close. And as a matter of fact, I referred Ben Hameen and Stevie to go over there, Sweet Stevie Cool. So they're over there on Russo's show. When I left, I had to leave over personal reasons, but it wasn't anything to do with Russo. And I said, hey, man, Ben Hameen and Stevie, I've seen them guest host on here, man, that they'd be great. And they've been there a long time. And Al Snow now does a show every week. Al Snow, the new technically owner of OVW. He's the face of the company anyway. I think there's other money guys behind him, but Al does the show every week. And I always love doing shows with Russo. I wanted to see how many times I'd get called bro during the course of the show. That's always
that
fun.
should be a drinking game.
40.
It could be. Well, I don't drink.
The over-under.
I don't drink, and when I have drank something, it's difficult to get me drunk. I guess either due to size or I don't drink to get drunk. I drink because I like the flavor of whatever I'm drinking. But I had Eric Bischoff on the show a couple of times, and he says, Kenny, let me get this right. Is this a show about me, or do I get to come on here and hear all about you? And I thought, oh, what else do you want to know, Eric? So Eric was such a fun guest. And my son opened up the show and introduced him on one of the shows he was on. And he opens it up and he's doing this big introduction and it leads in. So how do you feel about the Yamaha motorcycle and the Kawasaki and the Harley? And he looks at Chris and he goes, oh my God, we could do a whole show about that. And Chris said, that is my goal. I don't want to talk about wrestling. I want to talk motorcycles. And it's Bischoff's day because he's a big motorcycle guy. I love Eric and I love Vince. Did you get along very good with both?
Yes, absolutely. I love Eric. Like we got along so well. We did some hunting together. Him and his son and I, and Vince. I also really, really enjoyed working with him. I've been on his podcast a few times.
Me as a hunter.
What's that?
Russo don't strike me as a hunter.
No, definitely not. No, but I had a couple podcasts over the years. And he's been on my podcast 2 or 3 times, and I've been on his podcast a couple of times. Yeah. And I absolutely
excellent guests, both of them.
Yep. And some of the dumbest things that I've ever done in wrestling were as a result
I got a list of those too, but go ahead.
But the fact that he's willing to, and again, here we go with the writers have the hardest job in the world, and he would just throw stuff at the wall.
Walking Dead at their best did 16 episodes a year. And all probably a lot more writers than what WWE's got. My son's pointing out, they got to come up with a new story 52 times a year forever, as long as you're there. How many different stories can you tell?
Well, not only that, but you've got SmackDown, you've got Raw, you've got pay-per-views, you've got NXT. Yeah. They have web stuff that they do on their
the web shows. And AEW has painted himself in the same corner with all these multiple shows: Collision, Dynamite, Rampage, and then 8 to 15 YouTube shows. But one thing we've noticed at AEW, the great thing about there, Ken, you could show up there tomorrow. You're going to have a belt in a week. There's a lot of belts over there.
15 titles.
Is it 15 titles they got?
No, I'm joking.
Now, that I don't like. I like the titles. If everybody's got a belt, and then some guys have 3 belts, representing 3 different. You got to spread the damn things around. You got a shitload of them. Let somebody else have a belt. You don't need 3.
Well, then you have all the ROH titles too. So
I know. And then 15. ROH doesn't have a show yet. Rampage got a show, but ROH doesn't have a show. Yeah. How can that be?
You know what, though? I love the fact that it's opportunity for our friends to be seen and to make some money.
There's good money over there, and that's one thing all of us have said. Mm-hmm. Hey, WWE can't hire everybody. There's a lot of good talent never even got a shot in the WWE. I guarantee you, Ken can name you quite a few that were at OVW that never got an opportunity to make good money in the WWE. And now NXT's got a roster of 140 people, give or take. That's a lot of people. And guess what? There's still probably 90 to 100 talented people out there, at least, that should be on television every week. That even with those 2 companies offering so many jobs with so many separate companies, the NXT, SmackDown, Raw, and then Rampage, Dynamite, Collision, then the sub shows, and you still can't get everybody work.
Rory says they do have a show on Thursday
where people know who you are. Go ahead, Coltrane.
I said Rory says they do have a show on Thursday, and NWA got a network deal with the CW.
They did. Wow.
I didn't know that. So NWA is going to have a show on network TV now.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, now Aaron
the
Idol Stevens has been over there. Aaron's a dear friend of mine, been a roommate, and we interact probably once a week at least.
I worked with him.
Go ahead.
I worked with NWA briefly for a few months. Yeah. And Aaron was like I think Aaron had just arrived there, and he was so entertaining with the character.
Ms. Dow was a great character. I don't think it was supposed to get over. I think the problem was that Aaron got over more than Miz. The guy bumping outside the ring during the match got over more than the guy that was bumping in the ring.